So what I did is I just went ahead and I went around that, made a line around, and now I'm going to use white. Of course you can use any color you want, but I kind of like the white against these colors. So depending on what colors you're using, you might choose to use black or gray or blue or whatever. So I kind of start to go around my circle. It's rough. I'm not after perfection here. But what I'm trying to do is really gravitate your eye towards what I want you to look at. Because some of my canvas or background isn't as interesting. So I wanted to show you what I'm feeling is interesting. I guess we're kind of manipulating the viewer. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue to do this around my canvas or my book. And I'm not really sure when I get this done if I'm going to put words. I've been kind of thinking it would be cool to put some words around it. Maybe one or two of the circles. I'm not really sure. I'm still playing and figuring it out as I go. And of course you don't have to do circles. You could do a flower. You could do squares. You could do geometric, triangles. There's a lot that you could do, but really what we're after, let me go ahead and get back out. What we're after is trying to direct the viewer to what we want in here. And I will probably do different sizes just to let you know. Oh, I think that one's kind of cool. I like the way this is all 3D here. So I'll probably do odd numbers. I don't like to do even, so I'll probably do, 3, 5, or 7, and also different shapes on here. Not shapes, different sizes of here. When I get that done, I will come back, and then maybe we can figure out what we want to do next, because I really have no idea when I get this done. So we're back, and at this point, I got the circles in, and it's pretty dry. I've intersected some of them, just so they weren't so isolated on the sheet. What I'm going to do now, we'll see how this goes. I've got a couple of colors that seem to fit pretty well within our color scheme. There's this pink and a lavender. I don't have a really good purple. I could, go ahead and make a purple, but for this kind of thing, it's easier just to use it straight out of a bottle. So I may have to go shopping for a good purple. And then I'm also going to use some white. And I have a primary, cyan, and from Golden that, kind of fits in that color scheme as well. So what I want to do now is go ahead and start to fill some of this in. I still want to keep it so you can see through it a bit, but not so that it disrupts the other primary focuses that we've already established that we want to kind of highlight in our painting. So I think I'll start just with my hands. I'm just going to start putting some color around the page and be fearless. That's about all I can say, because I have no idea how this is gonna look. So on here, I already kind of like that color. What we're trying to do is just soften some of those areas in the background. Go ahead and move some of your white back in, and it is starting to cover up a little bit more than what I had hoped. So if that's occurring, add a little water if you want, and we could do baby wipe and pull some of it off as well. I'm not going to be too worried about it. I mean, I don't mind where it's going. I just had thought I'd keep it a little bit more opaque in the background. Translucent, wrong word. But it is a little bit more opaque. So I'm going to continue to build up some colors just using the different paints, and I will go ahead and stop and finish this up, and then I will be right back. Hopefully you're playing along with me and yours is working the way you're hoping it will. And then we'll see each other in a few minutes. Okay, I am back. It's dry, and that's my husband. He's working on some trellis. Maybe I'll show you what he's up to at the end of the video here. So hopefully he's done for a few minutes. So I am back. It's dried, and next thing I'm going to do, I've really given this some consideration. Still don't know how this is going to look, but I really love drips, and I like to add as much dripping as I can. I love the way it kind of adds movement to the page. So I'm going to go ahead and probably do some circles around here with my Liquitex ink. I'm using Deep Violet. And then I will dry that, and then we'll come back and I'll probably put some messy charcoal or black pen around them as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take my ink, and all I'm going to do is run it. Let's try this one. I'm just going to run it around the outside of it, kind of in a messy circle, nothing too precise. I'm going to move my ink because earlier I spilt mine. And then I'm just going to let it start to drip. And if it needs a little help, which it looks like it will, I'm going to go ahead and I don't want it to drip too much. That's kind of what I'm after, right in there. And if it starts to drip down the page, and like the ones on the top, if it comes down too much, I may go ahead and wipe that up with a paper towel or something. Ooh, I kind of like how that's spreading out now. And this Deep Violet is not quite the same color as the rest, but I think once we get a little black around that and it dries, I think we're going to be kind of happy with it. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe I'll do another one on camera. This big one on the top, I just love it, so I kind of hate to ruin it, but here we go. Like I said before, I think it's just being fearless, not worrying about the end result, just enjoying the process. It's so easy to say, but so hard to do sometimes. Okay. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I like it like. Yeah, I like that. I don't know if I'm going to... Okay, I'm back. And it's pretty well dried. Some of it I really like, but other areas I'm not as happy with, I'll be honest. One thing that when I did drip, I noticed that I did get quite a few drips coming down through the middle, which I thought I was going to like. But some of these I liked so much that I did not want more drips coming through. So I took a wet wipe and just cleaned up around it, or cleaned up in the middle of them. So make sure you keep your wet wipe handy. Then I'm just taking a cup and I am putting it into some white paint. I thought I was going to do black, but it got so dark with that purple that I think we want to lighten it. So I'm going to go ahead and just lay the cup down and get some more white going on. And I'm not going to be too particular. I'm just putting it wherever I kind of feel it at the moment. And the more we can get on here, not just within our circles, let's go ahead and connect some of them. Let's get a little bit more kind of continuity going through here. Otherwise, everything seems so isolated. So I'm just putting some on there randomly. Still don't know what I'm going to do next. I wish you guys we were live and you guys could tell me what you think I should do, because I really don't know what. I think at this point, though, I'm really kind of liking it. I'm probably going to throw a little bit of highlights in here with the white. I'm just going to use my finger, and let's just get some highlights going on in here. Just adding a little bit here and there, just so we can get some of that contrast coming back in. Otherwise, everything's pretty dark. There we go. That's a little bit better view, I think. So we'll get a little bit of this color coming in. Actually, not color. It's actually white. Just so that we can move some of this highlights around the page and get some pops of contrast is what I'm after. And again, just play. Just let yourself have some fun. And don't worry too much about the end result, because I think in the very end, if you're having fun, that's really what matters here. Okay, so it looks like for me I'm going to need a little bit more up here. And where I'm putting my white highlights, somebody else may not. You might find another area. I know I've watched videos before and somebody will do something and I'll go, oh, no, no, not there. And in the end, I like what they've done, but I'm just like, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. So I'm sure you guys are doing the same thing. And that's okay. It really is. I have never quite understood Picasso myself, but I know a lot of people love him. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pause. I'm going to dry this and I will be back. Okay, I'm back. I am going to turn off the overhead light just so that you can kind of get a better view. Well, that's my husband again. I asked him, I said, do you have a couple minutes so that you won't be sawing? And what's he doing? That's okay. So I'm going to turn off the overhead light, and I think you might be able to get a better sense of the colors that we have going on in here. And I really like the dimension that we've got, especially in here. I mean, you can see a little shadows coming on, some highlights. I really do like it. I did put a little bit more of the drip the ink. I just rubbed it on with my finger, a little bit of white around the edges. I normally really like to do a border. On this one I kind of did a hit and miss border. So I've got some of the color, but then some of the areas I left some of it clear. At this point I was playing around with, I'm going to turn the light back on really what I wanted to say. And you know, we've talked a little bit about these being kind of the moments within our background. So kind of a metaphor for life, I guess. We all have those moments in our life that, can define us. So what I decided I'm going to put on mine is she chose the moments that would define her life. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue these on. I did them on the typing paper. I just ran them through the printer. Just typed it up, chose a font I liked, printed it, cut them apart. I'm going to go ahead and just use some gel medium and attach these. I'm back, and I'm pretty happy with it. Couple things. I used the Heavy Gel Matte Medium by Golden. Your choice, what you want to use. You can also use Liquitex. You can probably use Mod Podge, any of them. Couple of things to let you know. Your colors underneath will move just a bit, which I like because my husband's so funny. It changes it from being bright white on the paper. It'll bring in some of the other colors that are around, the purples or whatever. And I really like that. It helps to push the lettering back a bit. It's not as stark. I do like that. If you don't, make sure that you spray your your paper first, or whatever you're using. Spray it first, and then attach your wording, and you'll keep that bright white paper, whatever you choose. The other thing I was going to mention is that I used a small micron pen, and I'm pushing this to see if I can get this done. So when I was doing that, I actually needed to go back over it with a darker pen because it just kind of scuffed it up a bit. And then I went ahead and went around here with some of the white. I used a credit card. Happy painting. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I will be back again. I'm trying to post a video at least once every 2 or 3 weeks, so keep an eye out for me, and enjoy. Thank you.